Hi, this is Brian Burchette, and we're here at Daume again. This time we're speaking to Joyce Taepke, who is a collections clerk for the Monroe County Library System, and she works here at Daume. And she has the unique responsibility of processing new books that have just come in. They are the Harry Potter books, and they are in Braille. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to her a little bit about how she processes these Braille books, and we're going to check and see what other possible Braille books they have at the Monroe County Library System. So let me introduce you to Joyce Taepke. Good morning, Joyce.
Good morning.
It's very nice of you to let us interview you like this.
No problem at all.
So Harry Potter books in Braille.
In Braille, yes.
So what is the process that you have to do now that we have these books in the library?
Well, the problem with any kind of Braille book is they're going to be huge because Braille is inherently much larger than regular print. And a regular book that would be, so big on the shelf is going to take up a lot more room. So even though Harry Potter is 7 books, it's actually 46 different volumes when you put it in Braille. The smallest one is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It's the shortest book, and that is 3 volumes. And the largest one is the Order of the Phoenix, which is 10 volumes.
Order of the Phoenix is larger than Deathly Hallows.
I honestly thought it was going to be the Goblet of Fire, but Order of the Phoenix is the largest, has the most volumes. So there's 10 volumes.
Wow, and this is all, let me move back here so that they can see this. Is this every volume of every book?
All except for the Sorcerer's Stone. The first book is already going for a patron hold.
Wow, that is excellent.
So
now so they come in like this, correct?
No, actually they came in like this, with absolutely nothing on the spine, nothing on the cover, nothing on the back. And the only way to tell which one is which is to open it up, and there's no way to, I think you can see it, but
this is all white. So
this is completely white, and in raised regular letters it says, in this particular book, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Volume 8 of 8. Cool. And the task was to make sure that whoever looks at this book, be they visually impaired or sighted, will know exactly which book they're looking at. So we put just the regular first American edition cover on each book. And then we printed the exact title, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and then I put Volume 8 of 8. And then, because I know which Harry Potter book goes in which, but somebody new to it might not realize that the Sorcerer's Stone is the first book. So we made sure we put which book in the series it is. So this would say book 4 along the top.
Okay.
That's for the visual people.
Now what is this strip right here? I see that's in Braille. Is that just the title of the book as well?
That is the title of the book. That is basically everything here. This says Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Volume 8 of 8. Don't have my
so
class.
that's all right there.
And that is here. And then for the spine, we used this Brailler, which is a label maker. It's very reminiscent to the ones we had when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
With the little disc, but this prints it out in Braille, and it's completely clear. So actually over top of this, it says Harry Potter, Book 4, Volume 8.
Okay.
In Braille along the side. And then on the bottom, using that same tape, I put on the bottom of each one, Monroe County Library System. Because all of our books have to say Monroe County Library System, so it is here for the sighted, and for the visually impaired, it's here.
Okay. Wow. I don't know if you can see the Braille pages here. Okay. So, all right, so they come in and you process them through you put all this stuff on them, and then what's the next step in that procedure?
Once everything is down, you'll notice there's a lot of tape on here because I think the cover is just simply designed not to let anything stick.
Right.
So there's glue and there's tape, and once everything is completely cataloged in our system and labeled as much as I can possibly label it to make sure that whoever picks this up will know exactly which book and which volume of that book, then it can go out to our patrons.
Wow. And as you said, the first book is already on the shelf at Bedford, you said?
Yes.
Waiting for the patron.
Yes.
Now, is this the first time that the library has done something like this with Braille books?
Well, we've had Braille books before.
Okay.
But I believe it's the first time we bought them from this particular company. So I'm not sure if anybody has gone through the process of putting on as much as I have put on. We have books that were printed from DK. They come up with these absolutely beautiful books. And these are some of the new ones that we have purchased per patron request. And I love them because not only do they have Braille, but they're textured. Oh. So.
And I like that because they have the Braille as well as the.
So that you can read
so that
to your child.
You can help them and read along. Wow, and each one of those, that's really nice.
And we have quite a few others in the system, but here's some of the newer ones that we have.
Okay, now what is that machine?
This is a Brailler, which is, I'm sure a lot of people will think it's very reminiscent of a typewriter with a lot less keys. Braille is actually, a Braille cell is 6 dots, and how you organize those dots is how you write. Each section of Braille is called a cell, and it can be a single letter, it can be a word, it can be a part of a word, it can be a punctuation, it can be a number, and it's all breaks down to 6 dots. So that's what this does.
So 6 dots.
Yes.
Tells the entire story. Like we have 26 letters in our alphabet. Braille has 6 dots.
Braille has 6 dots, and I'll go ahead and pull this out. This is a book if anybody wanted to learn how to transcribe Braille. This is what they would start with. We start with the different shapes, the different patterns of Braille. Makes different numbers and letters, punctuation, parts of letters. Because Braille is so bulky, you need to try to narrow it down a bit. So you have single word cells. For instance, the word and, which shows up a lot. But that's also a partial word cell. If you wanted to say the name Andrew, you would use the single cell for and then follow it up with Drew. Wow. Or the word theater. Okay. You would use a single cell for the, T-H-E. You'd follow it with an A and a T, and then you'd use the single cell for ER. Instead of a 7-cell word, you'd narrow it down to 4.
Okay. Now, do you know how to read in Braille yet? Have you? I
can do simple Braille. I am not at all versed in contracted. It is very complicated for me. And it's actually pretty difficult to read because if you look at this, the bumps of the Braille cells are on both sides of the page because they print it out and then they adjust it so that you can actually use both sides of the page. And it is, for a visual person, it's very difficult to pick out those words.
I could imagine, and I can see that where the
bumps
dots are.
The bumps and the divots, yes.
Yeah, for this side and for this side. So I could see where that could be very, very confusing.
But it also allows you to have more in this book because you can use both sides of the page.
So you don't have double volumes.
Exactly. So instead of 46, we'd have like 92.
Yeah. Oh boy, would that be something. And now, is this available? Does
This is if you wanted to actually go through the process of becoming a Braille transcriptionist. You would contact the American Printing House for the Blind. This was something I started a long time ago. I did not finish because I decided to go to college instead. The numbers are the same as the first 10 letters. You just use a Braille number symbol before it.
so the Braille numbers 1 through 9.
One through 0.
Okay, or 0 through 9.
Actually, it's 1 through 0.
1 through 0?
One through
Okay.
0.
So those are the same cells as the first.
A through J. Yes.
Really?
The only
And the difference is?
The difference is you put a number symbol before it to indicate that the next cells you see will be numbers.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to this for a second. The keys themselves, let's say I just wanted to type happy birthday.
Okay.
So all of these keys will type out happy birthday.
Sure. Would you like me to type out happy birthday?
I would love for you to type out happy birthday.
Okay. So. There you go.
And that's happy birthday. You
H.
have to memorize
You have to memorize
which ones
This is,
will hit which cells.
yes.
Okay.
And then you have, the hardest part, of course, is memorizing the orders of the cells.
Of the cells,
Yes.
Sure.
Because, again, this is the basic alphabet. Here are the basic punctuation signs.
And wow, that just,
And then,
that's
you know,
amazing.
and it's the rules to know. Like, for instance, if you wanted to write something in all capital letters, well, of course, on a computer, all you have to do is press your capital letter and everything. Here, you would have to do the capital letter mark twice, or I'm sorry, the capital letter cell twice. If you do it once, it capitalizes the beginning of the word. If you do it twice, it capitalizes the entire word.
Whole word. Wow. Now, I take it there's no backspace on this.
No, no, just like anything else, you make a lot of mistakes, especially when you're starting or if you're rusty like I am. What you can do is you can erase,
I was gonna
that
ask
is
you.
pushing that dot back down, but like when you're writing something and you erase it, you can still see it,
Sure.
they can still feel it.
Oh.
So it's best if you try not to. Of course, nowadays we live in the 21st century, and once something is transcribed, it's in a computer, it can be printed out, and you don't have to worry about making an error every single time.
Well, I want to thank you very much. This has been fascinating to me.
Yeah, pleasure.
So if a patron is looking for a book in Braille, if the library doesn't have it,
Please contact your local librarian and talk to them about it.
okay, because I'm sure we can get it through.
If we can't get it ourselves, there's other libraries in the state that have been very generous through MCLS, and we've had quite a few come through.
And if there's a book that is being requested more often, would that be a book that the library would eventually purchase themselves?
It's something we definitely would look into, yes. We definitely want to help our patrons.
That's great. I think the Harry Potter books are a super start. That's
I think they are.
You know, for something like that big. Well, thank you very much again, and we will see you later.